All right, so it's time to discuss the Halloween Ends teaser trailer. Now, the trailer, it obviously doesn't show you a whole lot, which is a good thing. I mean, people did complain about the first two films that they probably showed a little bit too much over like the first couple of trailers and whatnot. So this does give you just enough of a taste of the feeling and the vibe and all that. And it does, yeah,
Just the tip.
just the tip. Uh, yeah, it does feel very classic. Halloween definitely feels a bit more subdued because obviously we know that Halloween Kills, they did say that that was meant to be like an all out just slash fest, if you will. And this
And it
one is,
was.
yeah, I mean, this one is definitely going to be a departure from what we've seen before. Now, they did say it's gonna be weird in ways that some people may not grasp. I mean, it's because originally it was going to take place the same night as the first two, so it was just going to be one ongoing plot line throughout the same night. But of course, due to the delays of the previous film, with the pandemic stuff, and so they had to delay the film, and so they actually are going to have it take place basically at this point in time. 2022 is going to be 4 years after the events of Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills. So that does leave the question. It's like, okay, so how much change is truly going to happen here? What was the original idea? Like what could they have changed up to where it could serve the plot well as opposed to, making it worse or whatever? It's really hard to say. And so we're going into this one, and especially with the idea of this new character coming in, which was what Corey Cunningham is what they've named him. And the plot behind this is that he supposedly is framed for killing some kid that he was babysitting, and with some shots in the trailer, it seems like that this guy could potentially be a Michael Myers copycat to some extent. Now, it does seem like that's going to be pretty much factual in some way, shape, or form, but we don't know to what extent exactly. So it's really very interesting going into this one and trying to realize this, like, because we could come up with a million different theories, and
Mm-hmm.
and we could see that's some idea where they may be going, but it's really truly up in the air, like as to where this could go. And especially with Jamie Lee Curtis having said something that is going to piss a lot of people off. Now, we don't know in what context specifically she means by that. It could be, oh, maybe she dies, Michael dies, they both die,
Or
or they
it's
do some
just
crazy outlandish shit
she
that
thinks that
just,
something's gonna piss people off, but it's really not. But
yeah, I mean,
it's
it could be a million different things at this point. So with that said, it's like, so what do you have brewing in your head, potentially what you think could happen or what you would probably like to happen?
well, initial reaction of watching it Wednesday morning before work, and I quote, "Injected in my veins." It was, yes, I loved it that much. Um, I just want to go and see it straight away.
As we all
Let's
do.
see what could possibly be going on. Well, I mean, maybe the kid did it, and he's, I don't know, just maybe he did and did the one kid, and it's just like, oh shit. But it better not have some sort of weird ass transference of power.
Yeah.
That would be that. No, that just doesn't vibe. It's, I know Halloween 3 and 4 with, because it was 4 with the thorn thing, right?
Oh, well, that was the start of the Thorn trilogy. It was 4, 5,
Yeah.
and 6. Is
Okay.
where Jamie
So
ended with her, like, stabbing her
yeah.
stepmother.
Yes. So 3 was a complete departure from everything. So,
Mm-hmm.
but what I mean is because they're the ones with the cult and all that. So, I mean, maybe it could play in somehow, but some sort of transference would just not
Maybe.
jive with me. But
I mean,
yeah, I
it. Yeah, because at this point, because I know people have been very mixed on the previous two as it is.
I loved them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, everyone, like I said, has their own varying opinions, and pretty much I say any and all ideas can work. Just
Evil
also,
ends this year.
I mean, basically, I mean, so any and all ideas can work. It just really depends on execution. Like you could get 90% of things right, but if you miss up like a certain 10%, that could easily fumble everything. And so, yeah, again, considering what we've gotten so far, I mean, it really is truly hard to say. Like I said, we could throw as many different theories around as we can, but it could really just be a variation of so many different things at this point. Like with this guy, I mean, for the most part, I kind of see it more than likely being maybe 2/3 of the film is maybe this kid is going around killing as Michael, and then Michael somehow is thrown into the third act, but Michael maybe still has a presence throughout, and then you still kind of get that final showdown. But then, like I said, this kid is the one that's kind of playing a bigger part. But like I said, in what way? Like, did he really kill this kid? Did he want to? Like, was it some sort of transference of evil in some way, shape, or form? Is he obsessed with Michael? Because the other thing too is that it was said that David Gordon Green asked John Carpenter if the script seems too Christine. And if you know the Christine film from the 80s, the one where the kid becomes obsessed with this possessed car and he kind of, it's a semi possession, almost like in love with the car. It's going around killing people. He's like obsessed with it. So, what does that mean exactly? Assuming it's the core kid, he maybe is obsessed with Michael, and somehow, some way, that plays a factor. I mean, it's hard. It's truly hard to say what exactly could happen, but it does leave some intrigue. Now, do I completely hate this idea? I mean, not necessarily. Again, it just depends on the angle and how they execute it. So, I don't know, man. I don't know because we have seen, yeah, like the transference of evil sort of deal done before and all of that. And it's just, it does leave a lot of questions in the air as to like what could potentially happen. And so I'm not completely against it. It just depends on where they go with. I mean, it can't be a complete like imposter situation like Friday 5. It can't be just him doing it and then Michael is just, you can't really do that. That is a bit of a cop out at this point if you were to do that. But if you find a way to integrate the two and then have it, like I said, where you find a unique way to interwove it into the plot where it makes sense for this Corey kid to be a killer in some part.
Unless, I mean, mind you, I don't know the inner workings of evil or what created Michael, so to speak, what inhabited him or possessed him, but perhaps it was so great and then it created this person, this new person, and then maybe they meet up at some point. I don't know. No particular transference of power, but like, okay, somehow this new guy got created and he's like
I
the
don't know. I
new
mean, it seems like it's
Michael.
been
I
thrown
mean, I
around because
don't
I think
know.
maybe it's been suggested that there's these quick shots that you see. It's like in a sewer type location, where I think that's supposed to be Corey, supposedly, maybe, and maybe he has an interaction with Michael. Because we do see at the end of the trailer that Michael, with his lost fingers, that hand gets stabbed. So we know Michael is obviously in the picture. And we know he has to have some sort of showdown with Laurie. So we cannot be completely out of it. But you do see shots earlier on where you do see a hand that has all the fingers. You see a quick shot that people have alluded to with the ring on its hand. So assuming that that's this other guy as Michael. So, like I said, to how much goes on. Does Michael and Laurie, do they have a showdown maybe at the start of the film? Does she get killed? Does something happen with Michael at the start of that? And does the Corey kid somehow play a part? So technically, because in the synopsis for the trailer, they also put like, okay, only one can survive. So could Michael kill Laurie earlier on in the film? So technically, they do have a showdown. One does survive, and somehow this copycat plays a bigger angle throughout the rest of the film, and then maybe her granddaughter Allison plays a bigger part or something. Like I like could they be setting up like for them to be the new pairing, if you will? I don't
I want
know.
to know what happened, cause I said that after we watched it. I want to know, after he ganked Karen, did he just kind of poof disappear?
That is a big
Like
question.
what? Because then there's that 4 year gap. So like,
Yeah, because of course that wasn't originally planned, and
I
also
hope
with the more
that's
extended
like
ending of
shown.
Halloween Kills, there's the shots of
Maybe
him.
not particularly every single
There,
little detail of
yeah,
what he does, but it's like
yeah,
he
there's
just kind of vanishes into the night.
yeah,
Or
but in the extended ending, I know of Kills, it's supposed to be like him in the bedroom, like sitting at a chair and stuff like that. And like I said, yeah, that was originally the plan. It was all going to take place in the same night. But since they had, this gap, with the delays and stuff, they decided to change things up to kind of fit things in. Of course, the pandemic is supposedly supposed to play a part. We don't know how much. We don't know if it's maybe just alluded to, like, oh yeah, we spent, a good chunk of time having to be stuck in our homes, and after the dealings of what happened that night, it's just been wearing on the town. Is it going to be too political? I would hope not, because obviously, even at this point, it's like no one really wants to hear, this and that about, the pandemic and shit like that. I mean,
we
if
all
it plays
know.
a small,
We all know.
yeah, if it plays a small element, and like I said, just playing off of the fact that, oh yeah, people were stuck in their homes and like, and again, with the dealings of what happened that night in this town, it just left people like just so messed up and whatever. And Lori at this point in time, they said that she's writing a memoir and dealing with that. So it's really hard to say because again, like a lot of people, were very split on the last thing, and how much of the writing going into this one, was taken from that criticism, like they did too much of this, too much of that, and so they're trying to maybe pull things back a little bit because of course we know it's supposed to be drastically different. But with Lori having been obsessed with Michael all that time and her daughter having been killed already, and it's been 4 years, and now she's just writing a memoir, how much of that truly has affected her psyche at this point? And once you get to this confrontation of this, I mean, it just begs so many questions. It's truly hard to really allude to any concrete theories because it could literally be anything, or at least just snippets of these ideas. But then, like I said, it's all going to play out in such a different way, and it's going to be absolutely wild. That's why, despite feelings of the previous two or whatever, where we've been left off, I mean, for better or worse, you can't say that this definitely begs for a lot of intrigue going into it for sure. Like, this is going to be perhaps the most intriguing Halloween film going into of any of them at this point, considering just the ideas that we have going into it. And it's like it's meant to be an actual ending, so whatever we get next is going to be a new plot line and such. So
Yeah, I want to know, like, do they answer what he is exactly? Because he's not entirely human.
no,
I
well,
mean, you
like
don't see him going to the hospital to get treated for his fucked up hand,
no, I
or
mean he
or
did.
his eye that got stabbed way back when, or
Yeah,
all the other shit that
but
she's
again, that's
done and
always been the
people have
thing,
done.
is that
But
it's always
like,
been just that
but
blurred line of like, he's very much human but a little bit more than that. And especially with this last one, the way that ended, and lines from Jamie Lee Curtis, like every time he kills, the evil transcends. And like knowing that the town basically had him dead to rights, but then he just rises up and just slaughters everyone. And it's like, yeah, so where are they going with here? What made him go away for 4 years?
but that's what I'm trying to say is, like, it's not like he's exactly a zombie. It only comes out Halloween. He doesn't like go back and hide in a grave, or does can't exactly like blend in anywhere because
Yeah,
of the
but in
fucked
this
up
plot line,
hands.
though, I
So
mean, after
like,
the events of the original film, he had been locked up for the 4
yeah,
years and
yeah, but
stuff.
he's
So
out.
so he hasn't really had the chance to do that up until now. So yeah, where has he been? What has he been doing? Does
Yeah,
he
sure, he's working at the local gas
does he
station.
have a presence throughout this film? Like I said, does he get
Yeah.
killed, or like it's so many questions. Again, we could throw out as many theories as we want to, and like I said, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a blend of, a good few out there. Like I said, things have already been alluded to, but we can't say concrete what can happen. It's not as, I can't really call it as easily as what I think could happen or what makes the most sense as like Scream or something like that. I mean, this
Mm-hmm.
one truly does. I mean, it could be anything at all. It could be really great. It could be really shitty. It could be somewhere in the middle. I don't know,
We've
but I
had a
am very much
whole
intrigued.
series, a whole mess of movies worth of good and really ugly to kind of base off of. So it's like, I don't know. And like you were saying with the Scream movies, this next one you kind of have like some really good ideas of like what it could really be, and it would be awesome. But this, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, because I gotta wonder, like, if they didn't do the 4 year gap, like, would this Corey character be? I mean, I would guess he would still be a part of it, depending on how much they really changed the script. They even did some reshoots. Um, and supposedly there was a test screening, like one for two different cuts. One was received very well, one not so much. But with the news of these test screenings, it's always hard to say because I think even for Kills, people loved it, but then when the movie came out, it was very divisive. But supposedly the Kills cut was even different from the extended cut that we got of that. And so it's again this considering all the different meddlings of the trilogy thus far, like I said, all the different ideas, delays, and stuff. Again, there's so many pieces that are just jumbled together, and with this Corey character and the whole like departure from what we've gotten. Again, this could go anywhere at this point. Fucking Buster Rhymes could come busting in midway through and fucking kick everyone's ass. We don't know.
That was one that one that movie is a guilty pleasure of mine, especially when he comes face to face with Michael and is like giving him shit, and then Michael's just like,
That would just be a funny as hell if he did show up in this film. It's
oh
like
Lord.
that would be,
Like a passerby, like just background in the crowd. It'd be funny to have him there.
even if he came in and played a significant part. That's almost so ballsy and fucked up to where I almost can't even be mad at it if they did. I almost can't if they pulled
Well,
that.
I guess that could be something people would be pissed off about.
I mean, yeah.
I'd love it. I
Oh,
don't I don't know
God.
what.
Yeah, I mean, just I don't know, like so
Trick or
just
treat, motherfucker.
exactly. Yeah.
That's funny.
If even at the end, no matter what happens with this movie, just at the end, because I know at the end of 2018 you could hear the breathing right at the tail end of the credits. I would love it if at the tail end of the credits, just for the fuck of it, like no matter how good or bad this movie comes out, I just want to hear as the credits finishing up, trick or treat, motherfucker. You just hear that. Just throw that in. Why not? I don't know.
Oh, you know what I do want to see
Hmm.
is what they do for the pumpkin thing in the beginning, like of every movie. I want to see what they do because the Halloween Kills was really cool.
Yeah. I mean, because I had the.
I know that's kind of off track.
I mean, I had
but
the
I
idea in
love
my
it.
head for the opening credits of like, especially for this one, I would think it would be cool to kind of like you do the mask, but you do where it transitions from like the old mask to the rotted mask, or reverse that. Maybe do the rotted mask and you reverse into a cleaner mask or something. Just to change it up a little bit, but still reminiscent of what they've done. I would think something like that would be kind
Gotta
of cool.
gotta do the pumpkin though.
Yeah. I mean, God, I don't know. I really am going into like I'm really very much 50-50. My expectations are just kind of just there at this point because
I
going
have
into
none.
this one,
I'm just
I really
expecting a
don't
good
know.
movie. Yeah, well, I mean,
I hope
I don't
so.
know.
I would hope it does blow us the fuck away, but like they did something so different. Well, like holy shit, that actually worked. Or we could just walk away just feeling like what most people have been feeling, like, oh yeah, that movie was really good, or it sucked. I don't know, but again, the curiosity factor is still there, like for better or worse. Like, what could they do with this? Honestly, I don't know. And Nolan got another thing in this trailer is that you see that she's dressed identically to how she was in the '78 film. Like, she's got the blue shirt and everything. If you notice that, and so
Mhm.
I'm wondering about that too. I'm like, why? Like, is that just a nod, or is that meant to be something more there? Like, is she doing that for? I don't know, some final coping mechanism, and maybe some, or just a way to lure Michael out, make it feel like, oh yeah, remembering back to this night, because she falls back into the idea of be like, no, it was about me. This, I don't know. Like, and especially, yeah, with the idea that Hawkins said, like, yeah, it was never about you. And, but knowing that was her life's obsession up until that point. So it just begs so many questions. There's truly no definitive answer. All we know is that in the shots, we do see that Michael's going to be involved. He would have to be involved. There's going to be a showdown, whether one of them dies or they both die is anybody's guess. I mean, and with this Corey guy, what factor he's going to play in, I mean, God only knows. But it's going to be very intriguing to see. That's why I really cannot wait for this one, because I just want to see what the fuck they do and what they have in mind.
You would literally have to whack his head off to kill him, because you've seen all this shit that he's been through, all the movies, not just these 3.
I don't know if they'll do that though,
you'd
because
have to do that or like dismember him
because
or whatever.
They say it's going to be left as an actual ending, but we know that the whole Mustafa deal and how it's like contractually you cannot kill Michael, you know. So because even we had that with H2O, but of course there's Resurrection that completely flipped it around. So you could have an ending with Michael per se, where he's quote unquote dies, or maybe he kills Laurie somehow and somehow winds up back at the sanitarium, and it's just like the evil is locked up for good this time, maybe, and but the Corey kid is still out there. Maybe by the end or something, maybe he in a sense becomes the new unleashed Michael, while Michael's left to run away there. So it's like evil ends, but also finds a new beginning.
That'd be a pussy cop out.
But
he kills her, but then just like rots away.
I mean, I don't know if I'd be that upset about that. It depends on how they execute it, and again, what this guy is how he's gonna play. I mean, I could kind of see that as a way to almost balance out all this idea. Like that's the one way I can maybe kind of see where, like I said, it's maybe this Corey kid. It's some identity crisis thing. Maybe he thinks he's killing or doesn't know, and maybe he kills Laurie by the end, or one of them does. Like I said, but Michael and them, they have their last showdown. She dies, but then he's left away. But then, like I said, you have a new killer kind of out there, to where you never know where he's going to show up. Maybe he will, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. What Allison's future is, God only knows. I mean, her mom's dead.
Mom and dad.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's so many questions. It could go anywhere, anyway, but either way, it's intriguing. So I guess we could just end it there.
Yeah, because just the tip. You got just the tip. It's like, but wait,
yeah,
what?
Just the tip. And like I said, I mean, because we don't know if they'll even release another trailer. I mean, it's already July. It's coming out in October. Most people would say that don't do another trailer. This gives you just enough. Unless you can finagle a trailer that's identical to this one, it doesn't give too much, but still kind of bumps up the excitement level just enough. We shall see. But yeah, there's so much yet so little to go on. That's the thing. It just raises a lot of questions.
Yeah, you do any more and it's gonna destroy the movie.
Yeah, like I said, especially with all these new angles and ideas and script changes. I mean, God only knows. But all I know is it's arguably definitely the most intriguing Halloween film going to, for sure.
Or at least based on the trailer, anyway.
Yeah. So we'll just end it right there, just giving our thoughts and just what merely could be of Halloween Ends. I mean, I hope they manage to do something that's just so wild and so crazy to where it's like, I feel like I should hate it, but I actually love it type of feeling. I would think that's kind of how I feel like it could be, but I don't know. Anyway, yes. So, yeah, more stuff to come. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.